Hello and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about the Huawei Band 3 Pro. It is a smart band made by Huawei, which is a Chinese tech manufacturer. This smart band here comes with GPS, a color screen, which is an AMOLED. It has heart rate monitor. It has swim stroke recognition, and it is up to 50 meters waterproof, and it has GPS, as I said. Here at the side you have a QR code for the Huawei Health app, which is the app with which you are gonna pair this watch to. Then here you have the features. I wanted a multicolor touchscreen, true scene, 3.0 accurate real-time heart rate, True Sleep 2.0 scientific sleep monitoring and sleep stages, 5 ATM support recognition of swimming posture, which does work sometimes. It's not very accurate, but it can recognize which stroke you're swimming. Multi-sports, run, swim, cycle, and more monitoring. It has built-in GPS, smart notifications. You can actually see if someone is calling you. You can read messages. And you have smart alarms, though you cannot answer calls and you cannot answer messages. Here you just have some information. Here you have a see-through plastic cover, which you're going to flip upwards. Then here you'll be having a nice box. You can take this out. The papers, the charger, and the cable. Let's take the watch out. You have a nice thing that holds the watch. Then if you pull this up, which is very satisfying here, you open here at the side, as you can see here. One gets a micro USB cable, so USB to micro USB. Then one gets the dedicated charger for it. Then here you have the quick start guide, just tells you everything about it, like how to charge it, how to switch it on, how to do everything with it, and then just some other information. Here you have the charger. You plug the micro USB in here like this, and then you just be hanging on there, and then let's just take the watch off. Here you can just take the watch, and here you see the two contacts. Here the two contacts, and here just have a small bump, and that one goes in here into this hole like this, and then it's charging. And here you have your heart rate sensors. There are two of them, and you can take off the straps here by pulling this this out and here, so you can replace the straps and put new ones on. So the straps are silicone straps. These feel quite nice. Also, one can sleep with this watch. So to charge your watch, you have to take the micro USB cable, plug the USB side into an output. Then here you have the micro USB, and you plug this one in here into the charging port, and then you just place it here, and you will just see it'll clip in, and it's now in there. Then you will see here that the battery icon is actually charging, and you'll see how much percent it has. Also here you'll see that battery icon is green and it's going up and down. That means it's charging. Now it has 50% right now, so I don't need to charge it yet. So when you come to the watch, here on the first page you have the home screen pretty much. You have here the weather and temperature, and you have Bluetooth and battery icon, and then you have the time here now is set, and your date. So it's so here you can see the date and your steps, and there are also other watch faces. Let me just show them to you. There is this one here. This one is pretty much the same. So it's more like for actually working out. You have the time, the date, and the weekday. and then you have your kilometers. So how far you actually went. For me, 5,68 kilometers. Then calories, 183 calories. And your steps, 7,548 steps. That's this watch face. And of course, if you press here, you'll actually see the battery status and the Bluetooth status, though you cannot see the weather. That's why I actually use that's the reason why I actually use only this watch face. Then you come to this one. It's an analog watch face. It looks quite fancy, but the problem is they can actually see how small the screen is. With other watch faces, you don't notice the bezels that much, but with this watch face you do, and that's what I don't like. Here you have the steps, the date, and the weekday, and it's just a normal analog watch. Those are the three watch faces. One cannot add any more watch faces to it, so it's only these three. Also, if you hold down press here, you'll also be able to change watch faces. Then, for the next screen here, you have your activity. So you can firstly see only your steps, but then you can see your steps, calories, kilometers, and this is actually moderate high intensity activity, which means it measures how long you have actually been walking or doing some kind of mild exercise. And here you have standing. It means each hour you should be at least once standing up and move around, and here it counts how many hours you actually did that, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And here you have your heart rate. One more thing, if you're right-handed, the watch goes on your left hand. If you're left-handed, the watch goes onto your right hand. So my heart rate is 64 beats per minute, and after a minute it will just show your heart rate, and it will not measure anymore, so you can accurately see how many times your heart is actually beaten in the last minute. Then here you have your sleep. I've slept today 9 hours and 26 minutes. This you can only see how long you've slept and nothing else. Then here your workouts. You can have outdoor run, outdoor walk, outdoor cycle, indoor cycle, pool swim, and open water swim, and free training. So the GPS is actually used for all the outdoor activities. So outdoor run, outdoor walk, outdoor cycle, and open water swim. For the rest, the GPS is not used. The GPS is not extremely accurate, but it's okay. So here you can actually set targets. You can set distance target, duration target, or calorie targets, or just no targets. Also, you can have alerts like how far you run, or how long you have run. Pool swim, because there you have actually your target and the pool length. So you have to actually put in the pool length. You can 25 meters, 50 meters, or actually custom. So you can make it, I think, up to around 100 meters. And at the bottom you have just a random. Then you just have the normal training, which is it just measures how many calories you've actually done and your heartbeat. So if you just go on to let's say outdoor run, you target alerts and go on there. Then move around an open area. It just shows you what to do. Then you have a countdown from 3. And here, this is the screen that you get if you have a workout. So you have here your beat per minute, and then you have your kilometer distance. Then you have the duration, and then also for runs you have how fast are you running, and also for cycles the same. Here you your step cadence, which means how many steps per minute are you doing, then calories, and that's it. And then to pause, you just have to hold the button, and you pause, and then you can go on or actually stop. You end session, and then here, as you can see here, the distance was too short. At the bottom you have this button. This button here is actually mainly used either to actually wake the screen, like this, or to actually, it's like a home button so you can go home. So it always take you back to this particular page. And here you have more. These are like settings and all of that. You can face it. You can put faces. You can also find the phone, which means it will ring the phone. You have a timer here. It can be set up to 23 hours. And you have stopwatch and brightness. I always have it on brightness 3, so full brightness. You can also put the setting to actually lower the brightness when it's night. Then restart, just restart the watch, power off. You can do that, but the problem is then to power it back on, you have to put it back. You have to put it back to charging onto the charging port. Then reset that I just used to actually just wipe everything off the watch. And then regulatory and about. So it's just your about. And here you have your messages. So if you get a message, it will show up here, and then you can read it, and you can look from which application it's coming from and from which person. But the problem is you can only have maximum up to 10 messages, which sometimes gets a little bit tricky when you like have groups of people on WhatsApp and they're all writing pretty much at the same time. So how to wear your watch? I've actually worn it quite a long time here, actually on the wrist, like this, but recently found out that wrong, and it gives you an inaccurate heart rate sensor. You actually have to wear it one finger away from your wrist. The battery life of this watch is actually quite decent. You can get up to 4 days. Also one feature on here is that you can actually put always the heart rate monitor, so it always monitors your heart rate, and you have like a diagram on your app and see how your heart rate was. So it always is on this heart rate sensor, which is quite useful, and I always use that. But the battery life gets a little bit worse, so it minimizes it by like a day. But the battery life is quite good. So with that setting, I get around 3.5 days, kind of. But I also never actually let it die completely. So I actually charge it when it's about 20 or 10%, and then I get around 3 days out of it. Though you can actually be able to get 4 days out of it, or even 5 days, if you have all the settings on like power saving modus. Yeah, and also on here, if you have a message, you'll have a message icon here besides the Bluetooth icon, and it's also do not disturb, which means actually that the notifications from your phone still reach your watch, and you can actually read them, but it won't vibrate, because if it's not on, like right now, it will vibrate if you get a new message. So if you're like sleeping, and you don't want to be disturbed, you can just switch that on your app, and then it won't disturb you anymore. Also, the alarms on here are actually quite good. I always wake up with the alarm here, and it's quite radical. It wakes you up immediately, and it also snoozes the alarm after 10 seconds, and then it will set it 5 minutes forward, so it will ring 5 minutes later. And you can also just snooze it by swiping right. Also, one feature here is actually that you can, if you tap on something and you get into a menu, by swiping right, you can actually go back. Swiping right is your back feature, and if you just get gonna exercises, you can swipe right and it will go back. Also, most of the settings that you can actually customize this thing with are on the app. So on the watch you can't really customize much besides the brightness and the watch face. The rest is all on the Huawei Health app, which is available on both iOS and Android devices on the Google Play app or the App Store. Quality of this smartwatch, it is okay. That's what I have to say. This on the screen here, so the glass here is actually quite good. I've been wearing this watch since a year now, and they're not a lot of scratches, though it is scratchable. Then here the needy rubber band out of silicone, it feels good, but the problem is it wears out very quickly. And now here, when you used to actually have a texture here, but that is now fading away with the time, and it looks not that good anymore. And you have a watch strap which says Huawei on the and the and the metal body here is actually quite robust. It can sustain lots of drops from like any height. There are actually better smartwatches on the market for this price. So for I've paid around $160 for this, which is quite cheap, but there are just better and cheaper smartwatches that are made by Samsung, and also by Fitbit. Though Fitbit is actually getting a little bit is getting worse over the years. I think, and there are now much better smartwatches on the market. Also, if you want to pay a little bit more, you'll get a lot better than this. There's also the Band 4 Pro now, and it has much more features like for instance customizable faces. Another feature of the Huawei Band 3 Pro is that you have raised wake screen, which means if you just let it wait to actually go off here and then just raise it, then it will go on. Also, it works if you do like this and that, and also it switches off the screen if you turn your if it also switches off the screen if you turn your hand that way, and it just switches it off, or if you drop it like that, and it will also switch it off. Another feature is actually that I can actually switch, so I can actually rotate between the screens by just shaking like that, by actually shaking your hand, and then it will just rotate between the screens, which is a feature, but I actually rarely use it.